welcome to episode 8 of the Benchwarmers Perspective. I'm Connor Rath, and today I'm here with Jess DeBruin from Montague High School, the athletic trainer slash varsity girls basketball coach. Welcome to Jess. How you doing?
Good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So coming up, you got the fall season starting.
Yep.
Which for you means football.
Correct.
Right?
Yep.
Excited?
I am. I'm excited for the new season and what's to come with it.
Yeah. So during the fall season, like when you go into a football game, what do you think of going to a football game like that as a trainer?
Just being on my toes, ready for anything because you never know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Biggest thing is keeping those athletes safe and on the field.
Yeah. You probably gotten this. I know I've asked you this. Mm-hmm. What's the worst injury you've seen at a football game? Let me rephrase because we're going to the fall at a football game.
The worst injury I've seen. Let's see. That's a tough one. I'm trying to think, make sure I get my sports correct and which ones are from which sport. I haven't had, knock on wood, I don't want to jinx it, but I haven't had too crazy of injuries. Mm-hmm. Broken fibula, that's probably a big one.
Yeah.
Couple head injuries. But
yeah.
It hasn't been, like I said, knock on wood, I don't want to jinx myself, but it hasn't been too crazy of injuries.
Yeah.
Even when I was in undergrad, I think I saw a finger that was dislocated, but in layman's terms, the bone was sticking out of the fingers. So.
Yeah.
But that was probably that's most I've ever really.
Yeah. That's I couldn't do it. So you're going into a football game, and like for people who don't know, how much schooling does it take to just be able to be the trainer at a football game?
Well, things have changed. When I went to school, you were in a program through Katie that it was a 4-year program, and once you passed that 4-year program, you went on to take the BOC, mm-hmm. and once you passed the BOC, which is our big licensure exam, then you get licensed, and then you're a certified athletic trainer. Yeah. Now it's changed, and now they made it into your master's once you're done. So I think it's a 5-year program now, but you've got more loops and bounds to jump through. But mm-hmm. once you're done with the 5 years, then you have your master's in athletic training.
Yeah.
Whereas before, I had to go on, do my undergrad, and then I had to go on and do my master's elsewhere.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Geez, that's a lot.
It is, but then it's not.
Yeah.
Looking at it, but it's a lot of hours.
Yeah.
A lot of hours, just like it is with us. I mean, you're living in the athletic training room or on the field with the athletes.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing this now?
Oh gosh, this will be my 4th year at Montague. Let's see, it's been 12 years, I believe. 12 years.
Gotcha.
So
been in it a while now.
I have.
Yeah.
Yep. I started off in an orthopedic surgeon's office.
Yeah.
Working there. So I wasn't really out of high school until my last year and a half there.
Yeah.
But then now obviously I'm all in high school and that's it.
Yeah.
So
let's fast forward to your basketball coaching.
Okay.
So you started coaching at MCC recently, correct?
Correct. Yep.
At the community college.
Yep.
What's that like coaching at the college level? I know it's much different than it's a lot different than the high school level just in the rules,
right?
Because it's halves, not
actually for girls it's not. For girls it's still quarters,
but it's still you have the shot.
Yep.
Yeah, you have the shot clock.
Shot clock.
Yep.
I like it. It makes the game go a little faster.
Yeah.
A little higher pace, and you don't have all the stalling.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, in high school we don't do stalling anyways, but other than situation things, but I like it's a faster pace type thing. The free throws are different. Well, they were different. Now it changed that we're the same for high school now too. So I was kind of used to it from already. A bunch of people were kind of confused about it, but yeah, no, it's a lot faster pace and it's fun to watch and it's fun to coach because you get a lot of area girls from each high school on a team and bring the talent together and do well.
So at the college level, as a player, what are the things that you need to do to be able to play at that college level?
You've got to have a lot of mental toughness.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a long season to begin with.
Yeah.
Let's see, classes start the 26th. We start workouts the week after.
Yeah.
And it's, a couple hours a day, and then we do study tables. So, and that's August, August.
Yeah.
So, and we go through March.
Yeah.
Park Place Sports. Want to support your local athletics program? Look no further than Park Place Sports. As a leader in banner and sponsorship program for athletes, they provide top-notch services to help your team shine. Visit their Facebook page, Park Place Sports, LLC, and see how they can elevate your athletic program today. Park Place Sports, your partner in athletic excellence.
Through March anyways. So it's a long season, but that skill development, biggest thing, just being able to know the game.
Yeah.
Being able to work together with other people that you've never really worked together with.
Yeah. Being able to go to like a pickup game and have an impact.
Yep.
How do you feel? This is a big thing coming that the MHSA has talked about a lot recently, adding a shot clock to at least I think they talked about it. Definitely the big point was the boys games.
Right.
I don't know if it would have, I'm guessing it would have crossed over to the girls games as well. So how do you feel about that?
I think it'd be a great idea. It gives the girls and guys, they got to think more.
Yeah.
Right. They can't just go down and, we're just going to run through this set play and we can run through this play however many times, or we're just going to stand out here and stall or whatnot.
No.
It speeds up the game. It makes things go by a lot faster. And I think it's more fun. It's more of a challenge too.
Yeah. I know that when I looked at it, the only thing that I could think of that would have been an issue and where I had trouble with it was the logistical side of it. Because now shot clock is basically something you have to retrain all your refs.
Yep.
You have to then, on top of that, also train a guy to be able, each school to train.
Run the shot
clock because what some people don't understand is it's not just a shot clock.
Right.
It's not just like something you click on the scoreboard to reset it 3 times.
Right.
It's every time the ball hits the rim, every time a possession changes. Like,
Yep.
it's basically its own scoreboard
It is.
of itself.
Yep.
And you have to have somebody to be able to do that.
Correct.
And the logistical side of finding that would be
tough.
Where I have issues with it, but I'm just coming from a game standpoint, like I'm all for
absolutely.
Those late game situations, I think, is where it changes. You won't get no shot at Rick Zulik, but you won't get the flex offense that you run till you fall asleep.
Right.
Type deal, which is good and bad. I mean, I'm not saying that offense is bad.
Yep.
It's not. It's a good offense, but it's the type that's you're just supposed to be so good at running it over and over again that it makes itself work.
Right.
And I find that can be a little boring to watch.
Right.
That I also think something that you've noticed, and I had talked with Brad Tate recently about this, and we posted a clip on this too, was the scoring dip. Because there's been if you look at historical records from around the 90s all the way down to now, scoring in the MHSA
has gone
way down,
which
which doesn't make a ton of sense because in the NBA scoring's actually gone up. Like, I mean, you're looking at 200-point games in the NBA, and you typically what you'll see is scoring in the NBA goes up, and NCAA then goes up, and then then the local
high school
sports will go up as well, which I think adding that shot clock will force the game to go a little bit quicker, and then it will also force people to, or at least athletes to be like, even if it's a 48-second shot clock, like, okay, we got 48 seconds. That shot clock's getting low. Like, okay, it's time to shoot. Like, you don't get kids who are, even the guys who are scared to shoot are now going to have to shoot.
Exactly.
Which is where I think that it will be beneficial, because right now it's as a player playing in it, the games can get real slow. I mean, I remember last year we had Manistee versus Montague, and it was like 29-36. And you watch the whole game, and you're like, that was the worst game of basketball I've ever watched.
Exactly.
Like, and it will force teams to play faster. And all that.
Yep.
So, what are you most excited for this basketball season? Year 2.
Yep, year 2. I'm just excited for what I have coming back.
Yeah.
I mean, I lost 4 seniors. But who I have coming back are my main group.
Yeah.
We have a lot of talent. They're a great group of kids. They've worked together for how many years, growing up together, playing sports, and this is their senior year, and it's their time to shine.
Yeah.
And we've got a pretty good chance.
Yeah.
Doing pretty well. So I'm excited, and the couple juniors that I have coming up from the JV from last year, they're going to fit right in, and
Yeah.
I think it'll be a fun year.
So, as a coach, what teams are you looking out for this year? I mean, I know that you're going to have your heart is
Yep.
always going to be good. You're
Yep.
going to have your Shelby, who's notoriously been good in the last few years,
Yep.
and you're going to have those teams. But who in the Lakes division, especially, are you looking at?
Fremont's going to be one to look out for.
Yeah.
They've got they lost a few, but they've got a talented group coming up, and they've got some coming up behind them too. So that's going to be the biggest one. Ludington, that's always a big one. But those really are the only two that are really on my radar that we've got to look out for.
Is Fremont's not returning the Bennett girl, right?
Correct. She graduated.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I thought. I know I talked with Aaron and
Yep.
Jessica a few months ago, and I thought she was a senior, but I couldn't remember.
Yep, she is a senior, so but they, like I said, they've got some returners that are just gonna be just as good. So.
Yeah. So when you're coaching, you're on the floor. I know when I'm coaching, are you the fired up, like let's yelling? Because I know when I'm playing or when I'm coaching, I like to not yell. I should rephrase. I'm boisterous.
Right.
Like you're gonna hear me.
Right.
Like, right. And I talk loud, and
Right.
I don't really care who hears me.
Right.
Is that how you?
Sometimes depends on the game situation. My thing is though, even though no matter how loud I try to be, the girls still can't hear me.
Yeah.
So I have a lot of like not sign language, but like hand motions. Be like, okay, this is where we need to be in type thing. So, but. I know in some situations, I do. I try to be loud anyways.
Yeah. So what's the most packed gym you've been in for a game, for a high school game? I know for me it would have been back in 2016, 2017 when I was in, maybe 2018 when I was in 8th grade, the Whitehall Montague games, when I think Kenyon Johnston would have been a sophomore, junior. Both games at Montague was packed, and both those games went to triple overtime.
Yep.
So like that was one I remember.
Yeah.
Being real packed.
Obviously the Whitehall game's always gonna be packed. No matter what. I think that was a big one. Actually our game up at Ludington, that was a pretty packed game.
Yeah.
More so because the gym was smaller.
Yeah.
You get into the gyms like Fremont where there are a lot of people and there were a lot of people, but it didn't seem like it was as packed because it's so big.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was Ludington was one, and then obviously, like I said, Whitehall.
Yeah.
Would be the other one.
What's your favorite gym to play in? Mine was always North Muskegon. If it wasn't our own, it was always North Muskegon because North Muskegon was loved. That gym was fun to shoot in.
Let's see. We didn't play at North Muskegon last year, but I've been in North Muskegon's gym.
Yeah. Some people hate it.
Yeah.
Because some people hate I know one of my coworkers, Jonah, hates it because it feels really small, and there's always 1,000 people in there for every game, and it's super loud.
I love those type of games.
Yeah, me too. That's how I always felt.
When at Mona Shores, because I graduated from Mona Shores, obviously now they have the new Sailor Center, but the old gym, which was the Hannischen Center, gym, that was the best. It was compact.
Yeah.
I mean, stands were always filled, but it was small enough where like you felt so big. But personally, I like shooting in those gyms.
Yeah, me too.
Because the walls, they're so compact. You get like Fremont or what's another bigger one? Or Manistee.
Whitehall. Yeah.
Whitehall isn't as bad because you've got the wall.
I've never really liked playing in there. I've always shot well in there when I have played in there, but I've never liked playing in there just because it feels huge.
Right.
It feels like that in Shelby.
Yep.
Shelby's is huge.
Right. For how small they are,
but
like,
their gym is massive.
It is.
It fits like 4 courts.
It does.
Like
it is.
It's crazy.
I think it's 3, but it's 3. But still, it's full courts.
Yeah.
3 full courts.
Full courts.
That's pretty awesome. But yeah, no, those smaller gyms those are my favorite.
Yeah.
Obviously now the kids these days, they've never, other than our gym, are obviously until we get the new gym.
Yeah.
They don't get to play in those smaller gyms anymore.
Are you excited to play in that new gym?
I am.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
You won't have to fight over practice time anymore.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Because I know that was a big issue a lot was the practice times. Because I mean, Montague really only has 3 gyms. It's the RO, the NBC, and the high school.
Right.
And when You've got a JV girls, JV
Mhm.
boys, freshman boys.
Right.
I don't know if you guys had a freshman
Nope.
girls.
Nope.
And then varsity girls, varsity boys. That's
Right.
5 teams
Mhm.
in every night that have to practice.
Yep.
So 3 gyms divided by 5 teams.
Yeah.
Somebody's practicing 7 to 9.
Exactly.
And now with the new gym, it's 3 full courts,
Mhm.
if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And then, so you'll be able. Quick break from the action to thank our sponsor. Meraki Performance is a leader in performance coaching. Whether you're looking to motivate your business or your athletic team, Meraki Performance can help. Check them out at merakiperform.com. Fit those 3 there,
Yeah.
and if you need to, you got the old high school gym,
Right.
and you got the middle
Absolutely.
school and the elementary school, which it'll be really nice. I'm
Yeah.
excited to play in it. I'm hoping we have that Sunday open gym on
Yeah.
during there. I'm hoping we get it moved over to there. 'Cause
Right.
it'll be close to done by
Mhm.
about then. At least when we're finishing our open gyms in about end of April,
Mhm.
it'll be
Right.
getting done, and I'm hoping we'll
Right.
get to play over
Absolutely.
there. 'Cause it'll be really nice.
Yep.
I'm super excited for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you excited for the season?
Yep.
Big season coming up.
Yep.
What are have you taken a look at the schedule yet? I'm assuming
I
yes.
have. Yep.
What games are you most excited for? Obviously, Whitehall.
Whitehall is always a fun one. Kent City is always a fun game to watch
Yep.
and play. That's always a fun one, and it's at Kent City this year. Obviously Hart.
Yeah.
Even though I don't care for playing them, but
Yeah.
they're it's fun. They're fun to play.
What, don't care for playing them.
It's just, I mean, I do care. I guess I shouldn't have said that. I like playing them. It's just, I don't know. I guess I don't really have a reason, to be honest with you. I just, just never. It's one of those teams that's just like, okay.
Yeah.
But we're gonna play them no matter what. Which
I know.
Is fine.
I know that Oak Ridge was the team I hated playing.
Yeah.
Because we always call them the Dirty Eagles.
Yeah.
Not that they're dirty. I
Right.
mean, they're a great school.
Right. Absolutely.
They were the Dirty Eagles in high school, and nothing against them. I
Right.
mean, I like Oak Ridge,
Yeah.
but in high school,
Yep.
man, I did not like them.
Yeah.
I come out of those games back on JV because I really didn't play. There's a reason this podcast is the Benchwarmers perspective. I didn't play much in high school, but I did play a bunch my sophomore year. We
Okay.
come out of games there after a JV game, and I just feel like I got beat up for 20, 30
Right.
minutes. And they were always close.
Yep.
Like I know my junior year we play every time we played them. We played
Mhm.
them once in it was district, or we played them once and twice in the season because
Mhm.
it's still the old WMC, so it's still the 8 teams or
Right.
whatever.
Yep.
Played them once in the regular season, or twice in the regular season. So once they're at their place, once at our place. And
Mhm.
first time, Drew Collins hit a throwing over his shoulder, left-handed
Okay.
jumper
Uh-huh.
from the 3-point line that banked in to win the game,
Nice.
and it was tied, so we would have gone into OT. And then the
Mhm.
second time we played them, I think I'm trying to remember who it was. I think it was maybe Owen or Isaiah
Mm-hmm.
hit a bunch of clutch free throws down the stretch to win it. Another close game.
Mm-hmm.
And then in districts,
Mm-hmm.
they had our number all season for this. Districts, we came into districts, and they had some good players. They had
Mhm.
Garrett, which was by far their best player, one of their best players.
Mhm.
They had Peyton Rule, who's
Mhm.
still a great player.
Yep.
But the one that was big was Joza, and
Okay.
it was because Ethan was hard to stop. He's just big,
Mm-hmm.
but you put Isaiah on him, it comes a lot
Mhm.
harder. And
Right.
it was a close game the whole time, and it was end of the game we went into OT.
Mm-hmm.
The play was, we always called it, what did Coach Osborne call it? Oh, I can't remember. Square or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, it was against the zone. It was out of bounds play,
Mhm.
the baseline zone, and the 3 guys on the outside screened out,
Okay.
and then the guy in the middle was supposed to receive it.
Oh yeah.
Well, as you know, high school plays never go the way
Right.
they're supposed to.
Right.
Didn't go the way it was supposed to. What
Mhm.
ended up happening is Tug threw it up to Isaiah over the top.
Mhm.
He was up in the corner
Okay.
at the elbow on the left side, and Isaiah bobbled it.
Mm-hmm.
Then Owen was standing on the other side wide open,
Mhm.
and I thought he was going to kick it there. He faked there. Tug had come back in from out of bounds,
Uh-huh.
and he dished it to Tug, and Tug knocked it down.
Nice.
And we were like,
That's
and
awesome.
I had just gotten out of my heart surgery, so I'm like, oh,
Right.
we're going crazy.
Yep.
And there's a clip of it on if you go to our website, there's a clip of it on there.
Uh-huh.
And it was a crazy
That's
shot.
cool.
Oak Ridge again was one of those teams
Yep.
that can't ever underestimate them, because
Mhm.
they'll come in and they'll knock your
Yep.
teeth out.
Yeah.
OV is another one like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I love
Yep.
playing. OV is one of those teams though that I love playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like They're gritty. They
Yep.
want to win.
Yep.
Their coach is doing a great job with them, and they're awesome.
Yeah.
What's one of your favorite teams to play?
Whitehall.
Yeah.
Even though it's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
But I love playing, and it's just that rival that you've got, and the atmosphere is always fun, and the girls love that game.
Yeah.
So that's probably the best fun.
I think for me it would be one of them. North Muskegon in school was always a big one that I liked playing, and it was always always close games for the most part. But Whitehall was another one.
Yep.
As much as I hate playing Subden, I also love playing Subden because you look over there and he's there for every one of those guys on the court. He's not there for himself. He wants to win.
Yep.
He wants that team to win, which is huge. And he gets out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember the season where Whitehall had like 17 technicals maybe it probably wasn't 17, but it was a lot in like the first 5 games. And but when you're passionate, it's easy to get.
It is.
I mean, like really easy.
Yep.
Have you gotten a technical?
No.
Not even playing?
I did once, but it was not. I don't want to say this because I don't want to. It technically wasn't my fault.
Oh, right.
I was in college. Yep, I was in college, and I was on the free throw, or they were shooting free throws, and my coach was insistent, because I was on the line. They were about to shoot the free throw, and he's like, "Get over here." So I just got over there. So they called the tech on that, but it was something silly and just wasn't even it. I shouldn't have gone because obviously I know, but it's one of those things where it's like, well, he's telling me to come, so I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
But that's the only time I've ever gotten technical.
Have you seen any of them on like anybody else that you've been like, why?
Not really.
I know I saw one last year that I was kind of like,
no. Most of the technicals they're given because they're needed to be.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No. So you played college basketball.
I did. I went to Muskegon Community College for 2 years, and then I played 2 years at Alma College.
Yep. How was that? I mean, not a lot of people get to play college sports. Like,
it was awesome. Yeah. My body hurts from it to this day, but I would do it over again in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
It was just being a part of the team, and it was a ton of fun. So.
Yeah. So did you? I don't think you can do this because you would have been on a team, but like the intramural leagues, were you able to play in those?
Nope.
Yeah. I know that I played up at West Shore earlier this year.
Okay.
Those intramural leagues, sometimes they can get
they can get intense.
Yeah, like I played the team I was playing on. We played the first game. I remember it was like a 2-point game, and like they were chirping, and the refs they're good. A lot of them are WMC refs.
Okay, yeah.
Floodington, but a lot of them are just there because they're getting paid like $100 to be
right,
and so they're not really calling it. They're kind of calling it lazy, just being like, oh, whatever. And they were just letting the guys go back and forth and jacking at each other and like throwing shots. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on here? But so are you certified ref?
No, nope. I think my first year at MCC, I took a class just because I needed a class. And, but I don't know. I've thought about it. Yeah. But then it's one of those things where it's like, I'm good.
Yeah. You want to hear something funny? My dad's actually certified.
Is he?
He got certified a few years ago. He might have to renew it now, but he was certified. He never did anything with it other than to say he was certified.
Right.
I took the course but never finished it.
Okay.
So I'm basically certified.
Right.
But like I know the rules.
Right.
To know like
right. Exactly.
How do you think like being certified like that would help a lot of coaches in the conference? I know that there's a lot of misunderstanding of rules a lot of times.
And I mean, most of the time the coaches understand the rules. Yep. It's obviously like the smaller ones, but it wouldn't be a bad idea. It also wouldn't be a bad idea for them to ref, even to like have the other side. Yeah. Have them being talked in their ear all the time and kind of, getting that feel of things. But it wouldn't be a bad idea. But I mean, then it's one of those things where it's like, okay, you don't have time to ref, so why are you going to take the course if you don't have time? Your job is coaching, unless you're going to do a fall or spring sport, which is you can do. But
no, that makes sense. So going into the season, when you guys schedule refs, do you guys get to pick the refs, right? Like you get to go through and you get a say in what refs you're getting?
I've never been able to pick the refs, but I
Yep.
think we kind of do get a little. We can say, oh yeah, this one or not
Yeah.
that one type thing.
Jay, you got this guy's the wrong one.
Yeah.
Gotta get him fixed.
Yep.
Gotta
yep.
get a different guy.
Yep. There's
Yeah.
a few of those.
Yeah.
There last year I was like, don't ever let me have him back.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. So I think one rule that a lot of even refs I've seen miss a lot is shooting foul on a jumper,
Yeah.
because a lot of guys don't understand a guy can make contact with your hand and it not be a foul,
Right.
because he's got to invade the shooter's landing space for it to be
Right.
a foul.
Right.
And a lot of refs I find that either don't call that
Mm-hmm.
or over excessively call it,
Right.
where they're not really in the shooter space, they just kind of fell down and it's like,
Right.
oh, it's a foul.
Right.
And I'm like, no, it's not. Another rule, and I don't know if you're seeing this as much in the girls program,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of the way guys especially have been catching the ball.
Chris Wank, Century 21 First Class Realty. Looking to sell or purchase a new home? Or perhaps invest in a plot of land? Chris Wank with Century 21 First Class Realty is your go-to expert. As a leader in West Michigan real estate, Chris brings unparalleled knowledge and dedication to every transaction. Don't wait. Call Chris Wank today at 616-414-5420 and take the first step towards your real estate dreams. Century 21 First Class Realty, your trusted partner in West Michigan property.
Adjusting their feet, then dribbling.
Yeah.
A lot of people.
That's a travel.
Yeah, nobody has been calling it.
Right.
I've seen it for like the last 2 years, and I see it every time. Like, that's a travel. And
Yeah.
I'm seeing it at pickup ball too. Like,
Right.
like guys, they catch the ball, and
Uh-huh.
you're allowed to move your feet when you're still in the air receiving the ball.
Right.
But they're catching the ball, then adjusting,
Yep.
and then going.
Yep.
And refs aren't calling it. And I'm like,
Right.
guys, that's travel.
Yep.
And then I call it a pickup. A guy does it, and I get it. It's a cheap pickup call, but like,
Right.
it's a travel.
Right.
And people are like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sometimes, obviously, if it's a blatant travel, then
Yeah.
obviously you have to. Otherwise, the game's gonna last forever.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously, I think some refs
Yeah.
in those little types of fouls, they
Yeah.
they pick and choose what they're really gonna pick on.
Yeah. So how do you feel something like that affects the game?
Not much. I mean, as long as they're consistent.
Okay.
I mean, if they're consistent on calling it both
Yeah.
ways or just not calling it at all.
Well, so I guess I should rephrase. How do you think it affects the game overall as a bigger picture with the footwork? Because for me, it's always been like, okay, that he's doing that. He doesn't have good footwork.
Right. I mean, it does, but then it doesn't.
Yeah.
Obviously, if it's like blatant, like you traveled type thing, it's going to. But I mean, that's one thing I've been really working on is footwork with my girls.
Yeah.
Because I know like their footwork's not the best. So
Yeah.
just understanding what's a travel and what's not
Yeah.
a travel. But even at the college level, I mean, we have the same problem
Yeah.
where they don't understand. Oh, you have to dribble the ball and stop
Yeah.
at the same time, or it's going to be a travel type thing.
Yeah.
I don't see it too big of a.
Yeah.
Doesn't cause too much,
Yeah.
but
So recently, there's been a big rise in WNBA basketball.
mhm.
Has that increased your numbers as a coach at all?
Unfortunately, not yet.
Okay. Yeah.
Maybe in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
But no, not for basketball. It has not.
Yeah. I know that like the Caitlin Clark
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
I'm honestly surprised it hasn't,
Yeah.
because that was huge.
Mhm.
Like, and that's the most WNBA or women's basketball has
Yep.
exposure they've gotten in probably a long time.
Right.
Do you feel that it's going to?
It might. My thing is, if they're watching the basketball, they like basketball, right?
Yeah.
So they're already gonna be playing.
Yeah.
Most likely. If they're don't like basketball, they're not gonna be watching basketball. So nothing's gonna change with that. So
Yeah.
I think it's just more. It might in the future, but I don't see it happening too much in smaller towns, anyways.
Yeah.
Bigger towns, maybe, or wherever that, or in Iowa.
Yeah.
I maybe pick it up. It might pick up a lot more in Iowa.
Yeah.
But I don't see it
Yeah.
happening too much.
So, do you think what impact do you think that has on women's basketball in general?
I think it's huge, and quite honestly, it's about time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's about time that we get the recognition that we deserve.
Yep.
I mean, yes, I get it. Guys they're better and they're more fun to watch, but I quite honestly, I thought the women's college was a lot more fun to watch than the men's this year.
Yeah, I find it's a lot more fundamentally sound.
Yes.
You're not going to get the off the backboard,
Yes.
flying through the air, body catch and dunk.
Correct.
Which is fun to watch.
Right.
But you're also not going to get the Russell Westbrook takes 5 steps and
Right.
is confused why there's a term
Right.
called.
Right.
Right. There, it's a lot more like, and it's slower, but in a good way.
Yes.
It's slower because it's more fundamental.
Yep.
And the offenses have to. It's much more like decisive.
Yes.
And the decision making has to be a lot better, which I do like.
Yeah.
I also like the fact that the 3-point line's a little bit shorter, and that's just because I think that the 3-point line being so far back is everybody now is just like,
Right.
we got to start there. And
Right.
so for the at least for the boys game, you got kids who are shooting from hash mark at like 8 years old. And
Right.
you're like, kid, dude, you got to use your whole body to even get it
Exactly.
halfway there. Why are
Right.
you doing this? How do you think like the overtime kind of like the overtime social media craze and the hoops whatever thing, the other one, kind of has impacted the girls and the boys game?
I guess I'm not sure what is it.
Overtime, like the basketball highlights
Oh, yeah,
of like
yeah,
the high school players and stuff like that.
Are you talking about like development wise?
Yeah.
I mean, I think they've gotten better.
Yeah.
Right. They're stronger.
Yeah.
They're more physical, so it's gonna be more fun to watch.
Yeah.
But yeah, overtime has definitely gotten more fun to watch and a lot more entertaining.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
How do you feel about AAU?
Green Ridge Realty. Looking to buy, sell, or finance property in West Michigan? Look no further. Chris Dykman and Sarah Reel, the trusted names in West Michigan real estate, are here to guide you every step of the way. With years of experience and deep understanding of the local market, they make your real estate dreams a reality. Visit Green Ridge Realty at 323 East Colby Street, Whitehall, and let the experts take care of you. Ready to make your move? Contact Green Ridge Realty today.
I like it because you get exposed to tougher teams.
Yeah.
Right. But it also is more, to me, was street ball.
Yeah.
I mean, I played AAU growing up. That's what we did.
Yeah.
But I also, until what year was it? My sophomore year? I think it was my sophomore year. We played in this fall.
Yeah.
For basketball, right?
Yeah.
So it was summer AAU or AYBT, and then you played in the fall, and then you had winter to play AAU.
Yeah.
Now it's obviously flipped, so you only have AYBT.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good thing just to keep them going.
Yeah.
Keep them playing.
Yeah.
And getting more exposure to other players and working together with other teammates and whatnot. Or if getting our team together and having a couple girls on more on the team would be good too. But no, I think I like it to an extent. The street ball can get a little out of control type thing, and sometimes the refs don't call as much.
Yeah.
So then they think they can get away with it more in high school. But
Yeah.
no, I think it's a good thing, and I wish we had more opportunities and more kids would do it these days.
Who's the best basketball player you've played with?
That I've played with?
Yeah. Played with or coached?
That I've played with. Let's see.
I mean, I know
I'm going back to high school.
Yeah.
Here. I'm trying to think, what did I play? They graduated just before I did, so I was a freshman and they were seniors. So I mean, I technically kind of played with them, but Emily Brown and Emily Briggs. They both ended up at Community, and then they both ended up at Alvet. And they were fun to watch. I didn't play with her, but we had Amanda Parker.
Yeah.
She went to Western Michigan University. Jasmine and Jordan Walker. Those two, I coached them from little kids camp and whatnot. And watching them go play with Jordan and playing at Tennessee. That was those two, and then that's probably the top ones that I've played against or played with.
So, how do you, going into a season, prep for a season, or even more granular, how do you prep for a game?
For a game, there's a lot of film watching.
Yeah,
a lot of breakdown of the film, a lot of breakdown of the plays. I think I've spent at least 2 hours a day leading up to the game. and then some after that. A lot of that, and then just teaching the girls how we're gonna play and what we're gonna do. But yeah, that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
Just a lot of breakdown of film.
Yeah. So how as a coach, or where as a coach, do you think that basketball has to improve? Or what are some things that you think it needs to get better, and where do you think it can get better?
Just the numbers.
Yeah.
Numbers in general.
I think I've noticed that too.
Numbers in general are down, and it's everywhere. It's
Yeah.
just not us. And I mean, even recruiting wise, it's hard to find kids that are
Yeah.
going to want to play.
I think it starts with the interest in the high
Mhm.
level. I think that interest in March Madness, interest in
Yep.
NBA has gone down.
Yep.
And when that goes down, what you find is not as many
Mhm.
dads and,
Right.
and parents are saying, hey, there's this cool basketball game. Let's go
Right.
watch it.
Right.
They're saying, let's go watch football.
Right.
And so you're seeing football numbers do this, and you're seeing basketball numbers
Yep.
do this. And I think it's a little cyclical.
Right.
Like, I mean, football and basketball have been around for 70 plus years.
Mhm.
It's got to be. To me, that just means that it's going to come back around
It will.
eventually.
Yep.
And I think it's starting to with
It is.
the kind of the WAA revolution has kind of
Mhm. Yep.
restarted that. But I've definitely seen
Mhm.
a lot higher numbers.
Yeah.
I remember when I tried out my freshman year, we had 45 kids there.
Mhm.
Like,
Yep.
legitimately. Like, we had
Right.
enough to do we didn't do a freshman team. We had
Mhm.
enough to, but
Right.
we had enough there that we could have done
Yeah.
a freshman team and then a freshman B team.
Yep.
Like,
Yeah. It's boys. It's not more of a. It's not as much of a struggle getting girls to play.
yeah.
I think it's girls in general, and I think when they switched the high school seasons for volleyball and basketball, I think a lot of them decided to play volleyball,
Yeah.
and that's been the biggest thing of they've been going to play volleyball, and then they want to do club volleyball, which is all winter long.
Yeah.
But little do they know that a lot of kids don't realize that if they want to play in college, you got to be a multi-sport athlete.
Yeah.
And
So-
that's one of the things that think they just got to focus
Yeah.
on one sport,
Yeah.
and it's not.
So that brings up a really good point that I've asked a lot of the coaches that have been here. Single sport versus multi-sport athletes, where do you kind of stand on that?
Oh, 100% multi-sport.
Yeah.
2 to 3 is,
Yeah.
I mean, as much as you want.
I played like 5
Yep.
when I was a freshman.
And I mean, each sport, whether they believe it or not, it's going to help you develop in some sort of way.
Yeah.
I mean, basketball is going to help you with volleyball with footwork.
Yeah.
Volleyball is going to help you with basketball with footwork.
Yeah.
The side to side motion, right?
I think like when I look back at school, I think like soccer helped me get in shape for basketball.
Absolutely.
But it also, what basketball did for soccer was it taught me space and shape,
Mhm.
right? The give and go in basketball,
Right.
you don't call it a give and go.
Right.
It's a fast break, right?
Right.
But it was pretty much the way
Mhm.
you played. Let's take another moment to thank our sponsor, Shoreline Restoration and Construction. Did a storm recently hit your business, home, or other building? Then Shoreline Restoration and Construction can help. They are a leader in remodels, new construction, and much, much more. They also restore water-damaged buildings, flooded basement, and so much more. Pretty much identical. The
Yep.
passing, the move as a unit
Mhm.
stuff, all that is very similar
Mhm.
to basketball and
Yep.
soccer. And a lot of people don't recognize
No,
that, but
yeah.
it is. It's the same thing with for me, I ran cross country.
Mhm.
Cross country is going to help me in soccer, which helps
Mhm.
me in basketball,
Yep.
right?
Absolutely.
And then like doing golf.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball helps me because now my legs are in better shape
Yep.
for the quick, explosive movement
Yep.
for a golf swing,
Mhm.
right? Because unlike what a lot of people think, those who use their legs in a golf swing
Right.
hit the ball a lot farther,
Right.
a
Right.
lot farther.
Yep.
Watch the best pros, and they're exploding
Mhm.
off the ground.
Yep.
And it's huge. What do you think? What are going into basketball season? What are the top sports to play in fall to get you ready for basketball?
Volleyball's a good one. Cross country, like you said, I mean, it gives you the endurance to be able to
Yeah.
run. Obviously, it's different because it's long distance compared to short
Yeah.
sprints, but believe it or not, it does play a
Yeah.
part. But yeah, those are probably the two main ones.
Yeah.
Obviously, for the boys, footballs.
Yeah.
That one or soccer. I mean,
Yeah.
either way. I mean, no matter what sport you do, it's going to help.
Yeah.
And it's not going to only help with physical; it's going to help mentally too.
Yeah.
The kids who play the more sports are usually more mentally tough because they have more aspect and more well-rounded with other things.
Yeah. So, how big of an impact is weightlifting?
Oh,
for-
huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Like, and kids they don't understand.
Yeah.
They don't.
I know.
They
didn't in
think,
high
oh,
school.
I'm not gonna go lift. Like, why do I have to go lift? No, you need to lift. One, it helps with your physical ability, but two, it helps.
Yeah.
Athletic trainer and me.
Yeah.
Prevent injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how many times I'm like, no, we need to get in the weight room. We're gonna do these things, and it's the silliest little things, but it's helping them in the long run.
So, as a trainer,
Mm-hmm.
something that Dan Hunt and I discussed, he's from Meraki Performance, does all these kind of training things for teams. What we found, or what we were talking about, was injuries, and specifically, I feel like you've seen an influx of injuries, especially the ACLs, the Achilles tears in the and not just pro sports, college sports, but all the way down to high school sports. How do you feel you can prevent that? One of the things I mentioned was I feel like a lot of practices aren't going at the same pace as a game. So when you look back, Michael Jordan always played at 110% in his practice. He was rarely ever injured. And if it was like a bone spur on his foot, which you can't really do much about.
Right.
But now I feel like you go into a practice, and that practice you're going 50, 60% because you don't want to hurt yourself.
Right.
Whereas if you go 100%, that one weird way you land, you don't tear your ACL because you've landed that way 14 different times, and you almost stretch your knee out. Now I have no scientific background, so I might be completely wrong.
Right.
But that, and then rest was the other thing. Not a lot of athletes now are sleeping.
Right.
And they're not. If they are, they're not sleeping very well.
Exactly.
And that's why athletes are getting injured. So a combination of those two things. What do you think on that?
I have always been a preacher of, at my practices, you practice to your potential.
Yeah.
100%, 110%. You get it all because you practice how you play.
Yeah.
So yes, I mean, in that aspect, it very well could be. A lot of it is strengthening, like we've talked about, getting the proper strengthening, and not just the little things. You've got to strengthen. The hips are the big thing.
Yeah.
A lot of kids come in and they have the weakest hips.
Yeah.
And they're like, but my hip flexor hurts, my knee hurts. Well, it's most likely because your hips are weak. So, getting them to realize and do hip exercises along with the squatting and whatnot too. That and they're not getting enough sleep, and these days these kids are go 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 go.
Yeah.
And it's not just it's all summer long, it's all winter long, it's all spring long. There's a lot of kids who are 3-sport athletes, they're not getting the proper rest they need to allow their bodies to heal.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's one of those things where like we've got to get coaches to be on board with, hey, these kids, they need a break.
Yeah.
Because once spring sports start or end, you're already doing stuff for football. So it's a matter of getting in the proper rest that they need to, and the proper nutrition. Yeah. These kids are drinking energy drinks. Tell you what, don't do it, because they're not going to help you. Yeah. They may give you that high right there, that boost of caffeine, but an hour or two later or whatnot, you're going to you're going to crash, and it's not, your performance is going to even go down even more. Yeah.
So wrapping up here, what is kind of your message to athletes as both a trainer and a coach going into this fall season to stay healthy and kind of get ready for the season?
Like I just said, proper nutrition, making sure you're hydrated, stay away from the energy drinks. Yeah. Stay in the weight room even during the season. I mean, obviously you're not going to be maxing out, but just maintaining. Yeah. Those are the big things, and biggest thing too is if something hurts and it's lasted more than a day, you better come see me. Yeah. Because otherwise you're going to be out longer than you really want to be. Yeah.
Or you're going to be playing on something that hurts,
and it's for a lot longer, and it's not gonna do any good. So that's my biggest thing is, don't be afraid to come to us, because we want you to be on the field. We want you to be on the court. The last thing we want to do is take you out. But if you wait too long, then sometimes we don't have a choice but to take you out. Yeah. So if you come sooner, we take care of the problem earlier, then we get you back sooner.
Don't be scared.
Exactly.
You'd rather lose a little bit of your season than half your whole
we
season.
Don't want to keep you out. Yeah. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on tonight.
No problem.
Today.
Thank you.
It was good talking with you.
Yeah.
Good luck this season. I know you're going into the fall season. It gets busy. You're at a lot of football games.
Yes. Yep.
And excited to see what you do in basketball this season. And that's kind of it. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks. No problem.